Hey everybody, it's video blog time again. This time I'm going to talk about something that I talk about a lot, not necessarily on this blog, but we're going to talk about Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles. I've gone through what's in this cabinet, and I talk about them a lot. This time I'm going to talk about how I have a problem. Like I've already had a problem with video games. Now this is just going to show you the depth of my obsession with the Turtles themselves and the comics. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about this. What this is the first issue of the comic, the independently published first issue. Now it's in glass because that makes it seem all nice, but it's not a first printing. That's the one thing I don't have to show you is a copy of the first issue, first printing. This is actually a third printing. It's the earliest printing I have. So, anybody's buying me Christmas stuff? No. It's a third printing. It's bigger than most comic books. You can't really tell on the video, but this is the earliest printing. And you think, oh well, you have the earliest printing that you could find. Until you find something earlier than that, why would you need to own another copy of it? Well, you clearly don't know me, because I need to own every single copy of it that I can possibly get my hands on. So let's run through these. This was probably the first copy that I actually got of it. This is the second printing, or the fourth printing. It's a normal size comic, and then there's this behind it. This is the fourth printing. Fourth printing? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fifth printing. Both of these are printed by Mirage. And it gets way worse. So just keep watching. This is a deluxe sepia toned edition. That is considered the sixth printing. It's also done by Mirage. Another thing I own. How many of these have I actually read? Yeah, a couple, maybe. Then Mirage started collecting books and putting stuff together, and then there's this. This is the first 4 books in a trade paperback type thing, and it's got the first issue in it. So technically, it's another copy of the same comic book I already have. So there's that, except this one is in color, which the Turtles weren't in color until '86. I think this was the year this was printed. They then went on to collect it again in a much thicker book that has the first 13 or 17 issues in it. This one is not in great shape, but I got it cheap, so it's all that matters. They then did a second printing of that. This one, and it again, black and white. It has about the first 17 issues, and also has that first issue, the one that I have so many copies of. Mirage then went on a break for several years. Didn't really publish anything until the big revival came in 2003. At that point, they decided, hey, let's reprint that again with an extra book in it. So here's a much more recent copy of the exact same collection that I just showed you 2 copies of. And it also has the first issue here in the front. So at this point, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th copy. That's the Mirage collected stuff. But then they started reprinting it again, just because they were printing stuff and they had some special occasions they wanted to print it for. So they've got the PBBZ Comic-Con printing, which holds the distinction of actually being the only one that had the shading work redone by computer, which everyone hated. There's that. That one was released in 2006 or something, I don't know. And then when the TMNT movie came out in, I think it was 07 or 08, they released a video game for it. A pre-order promotion at GameStop was for a copy of the first issue, so this is 2 more copies. Was released for Free Comic Book Day, a year or so after that one. And then a couple years before, or the year before, Mirage sold the Turtles to Nickelodeon. They decided they were going to finally do a color, official Mirage printing of the Turtles in color. They did that, and there was a slight print error, so they released it twice, once with the error, and then once without the error. I have both of those, of course, because I'm crazy. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that's 13 copies, but we're not done yet. 2009, the Turtles get sold to Viacom. Viacom grants the license to print comics and write comics to IDW. IDW loves to reprint stuff. I mean, loves to reprint stuff. So they decide they're going to reprint, guess what issue? Yes, the first issue. Now, of course, IDW wanting to make money, they recolor it again with a different artist or a different, coloring studio, and they release it in their Color Classics line. It was a special event, so that Color Classics line had a variant cover. So there we go. 2 more copies of it. And then a couple years later, 2014 actually, they decide, you know what? We're going to reprint it again for the San Diego Comic-Con. And here it is, another cover, same comic book. San Diego Comic-Con Convention Edition, as you can see. This one, there's another copy I'm trying to get a hold of, but kind of expensive. It's like a different variant, but I'm crazy. IDW also likes doing collections. They're still doing Turtles collections, but the biggest and most important ones have been the Ultimate Collection line here. They're a nice hardback, and the original Ultimate Collections are in black and white. And of course, this is the first one, so it contains the first 8 or so books or whatever. And of course, that's another copy of the exact same book. This is the collected versions, like recolored copies of the ones that IDW did. So it's the same content that this book has, except it's in color and it's decorated like a pizza. So that's special. See, there's like a pizza and everything in here. But it also has a copy of the first book. At this point, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. But we're not done yet. Mr. Andrew Farrago, I don't know. He wrote this awesome piece called The Ultimate Visual History of the Ninja Turtles. And the book is great. It covers everything, absolutely everything, from the original cartoon show to the comic to the IDW comics to the new movie to the everything about the Turtles it talks about. In the back of it, in this little pouchy thing, as kind of a bonus feature, I don't know how he got permission to do this, but there's another printing of the very first issue. It's a tiny little, see, not as big as a regular comic, tiny little reprinting of that book. It's ridiculous. So I officially have 19 copies of the same comic. And the only thing I can think about is how disappointed that I do not have the other 3 that I'm missing. What's wrong with me? It's gotten bad. It's gotten really bad. See you next time.